Here's what I got to talk to you guys about. So we read a lot of Goosebumps, right?
Yeah.
And a handy dandy tool that we use is goosebumps.fandom.com.
Yeah, fandom.com really locked that in about a decade ago.
They knew what they were doing, and they got it. And look, I'll be honest, it's good. It's useful. There's a lot of good information on there, and I don't want to take away the tireless efforts and the thankless work that the people at goosebumps.fandom.com do. But I am currently on a rewatch of Twin Peaks: The Return, a show so obtuse in some ways. You can't not use a Wikipedia page while watching it. You need it for some things, because sometimes a character will appear and have multiple scenes, and you'll be like, was this a person in the show before? And they'll act like that's the case, but that is not the case in Twin Peaks: The Return. Sometimes people just show up, have a scene, and talk as if you know who they are, and then disappear forever, and you never see them again. But here's what I've noticed. The Wikipedia for the Twin Peaks: The Return is...
I love that you say the full title every time.
Twin Peaks: The Return, the wikipedia.fandom.com, is so fastidious. It is like a court reporter is writing down the notes of what happens on every episode. There is no editorialization. They do not attempt to say what something means or what somebody is feeling. No. The facts and only the facts. Okay? You know what I mean?
Unadulterated data is what you're saying.
Unadulterated data, and there are characters, like I said, there's a bar, for instance, in the show. I know you guys have watched it. There's a bar. And
sure,
there will be scenes where people will be talking about things that happen in their lives. And these are characters you've never met before, talking about characters they know who you've never met before, who have entirely almost zero relation to the show. Maybe there are small echoes of these things they're talking about throughout the show, but they will talk about these things. You can go to the Wikipedia page, find that character, and read about the exact details that they reveal through dialogue and through actions on the show, and that's it. And they leave it at that, okay? But then we read a Goosebumps book, and you go to goosebumps.fandom.com, and you read their plot summaries and their things, and they're willy-nilly telling you what's happened, and sometimes they explain it how they saw it happening.
There's editorializing for sure in them.
Serious editorializing, and I gotta say, it's a stark contrast.
I will take this quality of wiki over, like, say, the Barry wiki, which is like Bill Hader plays Barry on Barry. Click on Bill Hader, and it says Bill Hader is an actor who plays Barry on the show Barry, which this wiki is about.
Would you like to click on all the character tabs? They've never been filled in. Is it one of those kind of wikis where it's like someone did the base and they're like, I built it so they will come, and then no one came?
Yes. Kevin, I know what you mean, and I agree. It would be sad, and it would be very hard to do this show in some ways if we did not have goosebumps.fandom.com to lean on. And that's why I'm saying I will not fully disparage their work, but I just had to call out the difference in it just must be the type of person.
Yeah, the platform reflects the type of person. Like, you know, there are shows that like are just talked about by moms on Facebook, and and there are shows that have the deep and abiding and beautifully organized wikis. And then in the worst case scenario, there are Twitter fan bases.
Yeah, I used to fall into this trap of like, because, you know, I often fall into the trap of comparison as the theft of joy, and I still do it with my projects. I'm like, the wiki for my show isn't nearly as in depth as this other wiki, so my show is inferior. But I'm like, well, there's a certain type of person.
Are we talking about Star Trek Prodigy
or Troll Hunters?
Like the Troll Hunters wiki was kind of like the Barry wiki, where it was just okay. Some of them either went real hard on someone they had like a fetish for. Or they left that character page blank. And I'm like, this is half done.
I feel like your Wikipedia for Troll Hunters would probably be very similar to the Stranger Things wiki.
Oh man, God, I wish.
I bet you like Will, like people are like, fucking who gives a shit? Will exist. Will exist.
Sad Will.
No, I like Will. But I'm just saying, like, I think, like, I bet you I'm just guessing who people don't like. And I just they're like, Will exists, is a boy who exists. And then you probably go to the...
That's his Wikipedia page. There's a sad boy that exists.
There's a sad boy that exists. And then Dustin probably, there's there's like a Moby Dick's worth of content for Dustin.
Sure. Well, yeah, he's had his own comic book side adventures or something where he went to a slasher camp.
Also, from what I've seen, Chad, your fan group for Troll Hunters et al. Sort of seems to be more in the, here is my lovingly crafted fan art. Please,
yes.
Please look at it. That seems to be like the type of fan, which I think is the best type of fan community you want.
The goosebumps.fandom.com crew, not a lot. I don't think there's a lot of fandom artwork, because you would think that would be posted on here, right? And I don't see it. I don't see any of it.
So that's my favorite part of it. I think the fandom wikis has this where, like, for certain fandoms, if you scroll to the bottom of a page, there's the comments. That has become its own message board about that specific thing over the course of 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, you go to the Owl House fandom wiki, and you click on, like, the 10th biggest character, and you scroll down, and in the comments, there are just... You have to go past a bunch of ads, a bunch of other redirects, and there's people just going, like, I don't like this character. Comment, reply. Why don't you like them? Reply, because they remind me of my dad. Oh, okay. Like, just, like, all of that sort of stuff, and you can just read that more.
I gotta say, maybe my biggest guilty pleasure is wiki comments. Like, I love that they're hidden in the basement of the, like you said, below the ads are the wiki comments. They're like the comments on porn. Like, they're just...
Right.
The most id-driven, dumb, unhelpful things in the entire world, and I can't help myself. I have to read a few.
Yeah, it's like a wiki comment and a porn comment are like a poison that somebody needed to remove from their bodies. You know what I mean?
They had to get it sucked out and drained somewhere.
If it wasn't released there, something bad would have happened in the real world. You know what I mean?
I love going through them like I'm an archaeologist or some shit.
Yes.
Because I'll read one like on like the Fextra Life wiki for like Elden Ring or whatever,
right.
And it'll be like the long sword, and somebody would be like, "This is the worst sword, 1,000 downvotes." I'm like, I guess it's a good sword. I mean, I guess people like the long sword.
I read through the archaeologist thing is the best way to describe it, Kevin. I'll read through the comments on an old wiki page because I find it kind of a fascinating look into like a microcosm of a fandom, but also because I have this obsession with the idea that at some point a government splinter cell agency will use one of these like wiki pages to communicate their mission objectives. They're like, we can't talk via Facebook, we can't talk via Gmail, WhatsApp's being monitored, but you know what? The NSA is not tracking My Little Pony Friendship is Magic wiki, fandom.com. And like in the comments for Fluttershy is a like the president needs to be assassinated.
Yeah, like there's definitely like a deep state thing happening on under the umbrella tree.wiki.com or something like that. Like there's a plan to usher in a shadow president coming on.
The insurrection was planned on falloutboy.fandom.com/wiki. Now, Fall Out Boy wouldn't do it. Fall Out Boy's probably anti-insurrection, but that's exactly why they do it there. You would look there.
Well, I was thinking like, you use one that's maybe underused. Fallout Boy could be good because maybe there's a lot going on and you could hide amongst the chaff. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of Fall Out Boy fans don't know how to read.
Wow! Wow, the slander! Kevin, I would say, if anything, to be a Fall Out Boy fan is to read a lot of Pete Wentz's overly dramatic poetry as lyrics. So they should be prolific.
Kevin,
writers.
You have just fallen in Chad's esteem. You're going down like a louie right now.
Wait, sorry. Do you think the song lyric is going down like a Louis Leroy?
There was like a fucking Flash video that came out when that song came out, and they were like making up the lyrics to it. And that's what they said that line was. And a Louis Leroy.
What even is that?
A Louis Leroy, if you need to know, is like a Dr. Seuss-esque car.
It's very clearly we're going down in an earlier round.
No, it's not clear in any way.
Chad, I'm on the wiki right now, and it says it's a Louie Lou Rob Paul's right on this. Actually.
Oh my god, this is going to drive me crazy.
And they're talking about it in the comments. You might want to go join in. Maybe we could have figured out what that lyric was if we had drank a little brain juice, my friends.
There it is.
Welcome to Goosebuds. I'm one of your hosts, Chad Quant.
I am Paul Ritchie. We say our full names now.
I'm your third host, Kevin Cole, and I formally apologize to all of the Fall Out Boy fans. I also enjoy the songs that they make on occasion. I know 2 off the top of my head, and they're pretty good.
Name them.
The one Paul is talking about, and the one
Sugar, we're going down.
And the one that references Uma Thurman and wanting to dance like, or someone else wanting to dance like
Thurman.
her.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Dude, I mean, that's a great person to pick to be able to dance like.
Yeah.
Yo, they got Elton John on their like last album. It fucking rocked.
I like the song that's Thanks for the Murmurs.
Oh yeah, Thanks for the Murmurs.
That's a fun one. Yeah. Early fame Kim Kardashian's in the music video for that one.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah.
There's a time where Kim Kardashian was pre-fame.
Well, it's on the rise to Kim Kardashian's structured fame rise. This is going to open a can of worms about my entire view on that. We should not.
We'll save that for the Fall Out Boy podcast that we start.
This is a podcast where we read children's media such as Goosebumps and review them to the best of our 30-year-old ability.
So we're reading the Goosebumps 2000 book Brain Juice by R.L. Stine, ?
This one's definitely by R.L. Stine.
Is it?
Yes, I'm positive.
Yeah. I feel like he had, a month off because the last one was definitely ghostwritten.
And good.
And good. And he had like the rest and the time needed to expertly craft this one, which I think this is a pretty good one.
It's okay. Don't care for the ending, but I think it's okay. This one's fine.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. I felt like this was the least Goosebumps book I had ever read.
Wow. Okay, go on about that.
Well, in terms of, and maybe it's just because I missed last episode. Maybe my sea legs are a little gone from reading through these. We've read 130 episodes worth of R.L. Stine books, but
yeah, there's
something about like this book breaks the POV away from the kids, and I don't know if they've ever done that before.
I love that part. I made a note about that there are perspective shifts. Yeah,
but I was trying to tell you, I don't think that's ever happened in a previous Goosebumps or Goosebumps 2000 where our book starts with
a prologue,
the perspective of the aliens.
Was there ever a prologue before?
Yeah, they've done a prologue.
Have they?
Is there?
I can't remember.
Yeah, usually it's a dream or whatever.
Well, there have been dreams that were by the kids, right? That we were going to deal with.
It'll be like the kid imagines, I'm scared of dogs, and he has a dream about being eaten by dogs, and he wakes up, and that sets up like the tone for the.
And then the
book.
A dog never appears again throughout the rest of the book.
but Brain Juice starts with 2 aliens. We get a nice intro that makes me ask questions rather than, I don't know, makes me question my life and choices.
You know what else it does? It sets a ticking time bomb up under the table for us to think about.
Yeah, this is a pretty wild book.
It is.
With this prologue, this opening chapter is a story focusing on 2 aliens that I had the hardest time picturing what the hell they looked like, even though they were overly described.
They described the aliens for 4 paragraphs, 4 Goosebumps paragraphs, which means 2 sentences each for a paragraph. Not a school essay paragraph, which would be at least 3 sentences. This 2 paragraphs. Or 4 paragraphs of them explaining what they look like, and then later on, when the kids see the aliens for the first time, they use the same description. They just go through it again. I hated that, because here's the thing: just give me like a couple of like vague details, like just like flash some imagery in my mind during this prologue. Make them seem grotesque, but don't give me the full outline of the aliens, so that I'm like whole time I'm like, ooh, what is that weird thing? What is that? A double mouth? Okay, cool.
These were so overly described, I couldn't picture them.
Exactly.
Should we just read it? I almost invite this to our listeners. Like, if we just if we just read this out to them.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be said multiple times in the book. Like, anyone, we invite our Goosebud listeners who are artists, who are much of the more the cool fandom that draw stuff. Draw what you think they look like and send it to us. Because my brain defaulted to the two aliens from Simpsons.
Me too.
Yeah, Kane Kodos.
Yeah, like, that just was easier for me. But this is the two aliens. They're Morgul and Gobble.
Morgul, the Morgul blade. Morgul, the Morgul blade of space.
And Gobble from Gabagool. And the two aliens were green and wet-skinned. They wore no clothing, good to point out. Mm-hmm. Their bell-shaped bodies had 4 slender tentacles poking out of the sides.
I'm surprised RL could even, like, describe them because they wore no clothing.
They were...
I don't know how to define these characters without what their haircut is and what kind of jeans they like.
They had no clothing and no hair color to describe.
Why are aliens always naked? Like, I get, like, the alien in, like, the tinfoil suit or whatever, but, like, why are they always naked?
Because they've evolved past the need for shame. Oh, I know this answer. Kevin. Me.
Okay,
because in this place where God is real in reality, the aliens didn't eat from the apple of truth and feel shame for their nature.
They're living in Eden, Space Eden.
Yeah. They never did that. They never had space snake say, like, eat this apple, and then they felt shame for their nude form. Okay. So that's why.
That's that you nailed it. That's it.
I guess they also don't have a lot of, like, snaggable organs or sharp doors or angles in their architecture or whatever.
It sounded like a pretty smooth surfaced ship or space where they live.
Yeah.
Real quick, I did want to say they either the two aliens from Simpsons or Victory Bell is kind of what I was imagining in my head.
The Pokemon Victory Bell?
Yeah, a little bit of that was.
Well, yeah, as soon as you say bell-shaped bodies, I was like, which way is the bell?
Right. It's a Victory Bell, I would imagine.
Yeah, Victory Bell's an inverted bell.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They are not depicted on the cover, so.
Nay, they are.
No, just a big brain.
Yeah.
Their bell-shaped bodies had 4 slender tentacles poking out of the sides, 2 flat webbed feet, 8 curled black toes on each foot, rested at the end of short, stumpy legs. So they have tentacles, but also legs?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Frog-like heads bobbled on top of the short, fat bodies.
That's where I lost the plot.
Yeah, that was once they started having frog heads. It was like, what? Really lost the image. There is a picture on goosebumps.fandom.com. Thank you, goosebumps.fandom.com for depicting because it's the French translation has an image. I'll throw it in there for y'all.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Pouring out a little brain juice.
Okay, because even in this design is too busy.
Yeah,
because you have different mouths for different types of eating, and I don't believe this monster evolved. It has 2 sets of mouths, tusks over the higher, bigger mouth that would be like, those tusks are be getting into your lower mouth accidentally all the time. That's bad evolution.
I think the top mouth is for eating, and the bottom mouth is for catching anything that falls out of the top mouth. So it's actually, I think, a smart evolutionary step.
I mean, humans have 2 holes in their face. Like we have, like, our nose and our mouth, so it's not implausible that you could have 2 breathing holes. That makes a lot of sense. And in fact, it's kind of fucked up that our main breathing hole is also, like, our main food go in hole, because, like, a lot of people die from choking.
Yeah,
they should be separate holes. You're right.
Yeah. To say nothing of the party hole that also does piss. So
I think that's the most fucked up thing is the down below holes. That's where things really get hairy, literally.
Yeah.
And I gotta say this image that they have on the wiki page, which is an officially canon image because it's on the French cover. It's not right. The aliens have bulbous, like, things on the ends of their tentacles where they breathe through. Purple.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even think this is a bell shape.
No.
Necessarily.
No, this is a Jabba shape.
Also, too much Stine, all right? Like, too much fucking descriptor on this alien. Like, you could, like, parcel it out a little bit until I have, like, questions to ask, but, like...
That's what I'm saying. Give me a little taste, right? Give me a little, like, build the mystery. Because it's cool what he's doing here. He builds a little mystery because he just tells us, straight up tells us there's aliens, but...
He tells you exactly what their plan is.
He tells you what their plan is, but like, it's cool because in the Hitchcockian sense, because, again, like, it's like a little ticking time bomb that we're like, all right, We know the kid. We get to the kids very quickly after this scene, and we know what their problem is, and we know the Uncle Frank who they're dealing with, what his problem is, and we know that there's some sort of looming disaster, which is good. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think the fact that we're given this big description interferes with this being a horror story, as you've said, Chad. Like, there's not a lot of horror going on in this.
This is like a comedy sci-fi book, it feels like.
Book starts out funny, too. I think this book was actually very funny. I think I was disappointed in the ending because of how funny this book is to start.
But I think it's kind of funny that you guys keep expecting R.L. Stine to be a good horror writer when he is a jokesman.
But that's all we've been marketed our entire lives is R.L. Stine, the master of horror. Kevin, the intro to Goosebumps, the TV show, is just the nature of his pages, loose in the wind, will destroy a town.
Yep. It will make a woman go from normal looking to slightly tired looking.
Yeah, it destroys it can change a billboard, Kevin. Just the shadow of a G. So, like, this man is supposed to be a peak horror creation, and instead he wrote bathroom readers. So there's a contrast for sure. This opening scene, we should set it and be able to keep talking about the rest of this is the setup of this comedy farce. This is a farce of a book.
It is.
That Morgul and Gobble are hiding in Maplewood, New Jersey. They have been for nearly a week, where they are spying on the, quote, famous scientist, Dr. Frank King.
Yeah. And his hot wife.
And his hot wife.
They watch them fuck every night.
His crazy hot wife.
Well, following the jokes for it, it'd be like they would think that them having dinner is them fucking or something. Because that's how most of Morgul and Gobble's things are. They misinterpret. Which is fun. That's a fun joke.
For instance, they think that Dr. Frank King is the greatest doctor because his name is King, and you only become king of something if you were the best at it.
Yes.
Yeah. This starts the farce. They are just in the basement of a random failed inventor. And they are
excuse me, he takes unprompted sex vacations to Sweden.
Out of nowhere, when the story needed him to not be there, he went to Sweden. Yeah.
I've never been to Sweden. I don't think any of us have been to Sweden. So as far as we're all concerned, he is a king.
I actually like Frank King. Frank King is maybe one of the best. He's not even a mad scientist. I viewed him more as like, did you guys have those dudes who would kind of travel around your local state who were kind of like Dr. Whizbang, and he'd like go on PBS or go to your local school. And and this is what happens when you put formaldehyde in water.
Yeah, a 5 o'clock news doctor.
It is interesting. That his name is Dr. King, considering there is other like more famous Dr. King.
Kevin, I do want to point out a flaw in thinking that Dr. Frank King has his shit together. He did buy that house in 1970 for $15, so do remember that.
That's smart. We should have done that.
we should have all bought houses before we were born.
If us millennials are so smart with our computers, we should send some money back in time to our parents to buy a house for us.
Should have got some of that brain energizer fluid.
Hold on. Can I just the cover of this says a mind is a terrible thing to drink. I just need to point that out. I
did some research about that. I was like, where does that phrase "a mind is a terrible thing to waste" from? And it turns out that slogan that we've all, I think, kind of, colloquially now known, was originally a slogan for the United Negro College Fund, a scholarship program.
Huh.
Okay.
So it was particularly a phrase used towards, I guess, just like, this is why minority African Americans should deserve to get to go to college.
Right.
And then RL took it and made it about a brain smarty drink.
I want to know who writes it. I would believe that RL wrote that. But I want to know if there's like, you know how like some writers for like news organizations will be like, we don't write the headlines. Some ding dong writes them for SEO, Like they'll say like that's a job, is to be the person who writes the headline that doesn't mean anything, that doesn't have anything to do with what's going on in the article. That's kind of what I think might have happened with some of these stories. Is somebody at Scholastic or whatever publisher was doing these was like, I got to come up with the pull quote, not a pull quote, but I got to come up with the thing, and it's got to be just dumb enough that a kid will be like, okay, I'll read that. A mind is a terrible thing to drink.
I find it on brand for white people that we've taken something as beautiful as a mind is a terrible thing to waste and sort of brought it down to the level of where's the beef.
I've fallen and I can't get up. But yeah, there's no brains being drank in this. If anything, the brain is drinking.
Right.
Nathan Nichols is our main character. He doesn't know that he's about to be enslaved by aliens. His stepsister, Lindy, is almost exactly like him. They're both 12, and they're both full of idiot.
They're both dumb, and I love it. I love these dumb characters.
Really dumb.
It's fun. It's fun that they're so stupid.
Yeah.
It's funny because, like, they're both really stupid, but they come from completely different DNA, so it's like, how'd that happen?
Nature versus nurture.
There you go. Two nurtures, and the two dumb parents came together and brought their dumb kids together.
The parents gave him too much Dr. Pepper as a kid, as an infant. So.
I drank 20 cans of Pepsi while you were in the womb every time. Weird.
I gave you Dr. Pepper. A doctor invented it. It has to be good. It was really fun that they were dumb because, like, we've had snarky characters before, and they weren't that fun. We've had many a normal kid. I would say like 85%, right, of like our main protagonists are normal kids.
We've had sensitive, creative kids.
We've had all kinds of kids, but I don't think we've had a truly stupid kid.
We've had kids that are maybe unfairly graded. I can't remember which one that was the monster teacher, creature teacher, where it's like, that kid's not dumb, but the system is against them to be graded down.
Right.
This is specifically, these two kids just having a real hard time with all classes in school.
They show up to Uncle Frank's house. And so, like, we don't know anything about these kids, but we're told that they're dumb. Before they talk to Dr. Frank, do they talk about how bad things are, or do they just show up and they're like, we're dumb, we need your help? I think we get a little...
They break the dollhouse, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we meet Brenda. They break the dollhouse, and we get a description of Frank for the first time, and he looks like Santa, and I like that.
The exact quote which I wrote down is, "He was a big Santa Claus of a man."
Yep.
I love it. By the way, we skipped over what is actually the bomb under the table in that first chapter that we talked 15 minutes about.
Oh, right.
That Gobble and Morgul are worried that they haven't found people who are smart enough to be slaves for their alien emperor.
Right.
That they might have to use the brain super juice.
Young, strong, and smart enough. They need to have all three of those attributes.
What are these slaves needed for? We'll find out later.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Will we? Do we ever find out what they need them for?
I mean, we're told one thing about why they need to be smart, and that's the reason we're supposed to believe why.
They have to do the Emperor's math or some shit. That's...
The Emperor needs a new mentat, 2 new mentats, so they have to be smart.
Can't have a calculator or a computer.
This alien race that is technologically superior to us in that they have faster than light travel. They have to have. But they're like, we need to get 2 young children slaves, make them genetically modified to be smarter, and then they will do all our math for us. Surely that won't end up being bad for it when these two slave scientists end up like coordinating all of our ships to go into a black hole
right.
or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, the threat of this whole book is like, these 2 kids, they're going to get enslaved. Isn't that a fun topic for a 90s book?
It's the topic of a lot of Goosebumps books, a tremendous amount of Goosebumps books.
Okay, yeah. So the kids meet up with Frank. He's like, these kids just need confidence. I'll give them some grape juice. I'll print out a label from my sticker printer because, Jenny likes to scrap. So I'll do some quick graphic design.
My hot wife loves to scrap.
It was the 90s, guys. It was the 90s. Crafting was all the rage.
So he boots up a greetings workshop or Photoshop or whatever, and he puts together a little label and cuts it out. And the kids have been waiting for like an hour at this point.
I do love. So the kids show up and they're like, Uncle Frank, we are fucking stupid. We are so dumb.
We're not joking. That's what they say. They're like, we're dumb.
They're definitely not Dunning-Kruger. They're smart enough to know that they're not smart and that they need to go talk to somebody smart. And their Uncle Frank is the closest. So they got that level of intelligence. But they're like, we're fucking stupid. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? Like, he doesn't try to console them or make them feel better. He's just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do about it, kids? And then I love that he does what you're saying, Kevin. And then he does all the printing and goes into the kitchen to grab the grape juice that he's going to put this label on. That's his brain juice. Mm-hmm. And his hot wife, Jen, is there. Yep. And she says, what the fuck's up, Frank? You're using my printer for my crafts. And I'm running out of ink. And Frank...
I'm running a business from home, and I don't have this invoiced.
I can't just order things on Amazon.com yet. We're not there yet, Frank. So she says that to him, and she's like, the kids showed up. They said they're fucking stupid. And she's like, well, I hope you told them that they're not, and that we love them. And he pauses for a brief moment, and he's like, I'm going to go take this juice to them in the room, okay?
He's like, I thought I'd prank them?
I mean, this is a pre-Space Jam special stuff, if you guys recall.
For sure.
This is a post-Space Jam special stuff.
Oh, maybe it's afterwards. Maybe Uncle Frank was inspired. But this is very much like, these kids want to cheat to get smart, and I'm going to teach them a good, I guess, moral lesson. That if they drink this, but really if they study real hard, they'll get smarter.
Right. Yeah, what is the crime of these kids? Like what? Like this is like a punishment tale, like almost, but it's like their crime is being dumb and asking for help.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. Like you're giving the impression that maybe these kids are just not trying hard enough. But like in our flashback, because they go to Uncle Frank's house. We meet him, and then we're taken back to see that they did poorly on a test, which they studied for and supposedly tried really hard for. They're being picked on by the other smart kids at school, which I think is a hilarious turn. It's almost like a 21 Jump Street. It's a bit of a 21 Jump Street or 22 Jump Street situation where the smart kids are the bullies at this school. They do crossword puzzles to gloat and to hold it over the other kids.
I love this. I love the smart bullies at the school. That's very funny. And it's more in line with how like smart kids work. Cause like, look, if you're really good at doing your homework, that just means you have an okay family life, which means you're fucking privileged.
You're probably privileged. You probably have money and you have more time because you don't work so hard to get good grades. You have more time to pick on people and to judge people.
You don't have to worry about where's dinner going to come from or maybe doing your part-time job to help pay for your family. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's all homework measures is does your family have some cash?
Let's just say that I feel like this is something you all will agree with me on. Goosebuds is an anti-homework podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay pro anti-homework because I don't like homework. But I'm not going to claim that I know the mechanics of teaching any better than a teacher does. I'll say that much.
It's definitely not the teacher's fault. And it's like tipping.
No.
Like, tipping is really fucking stupid, and we should get rid of it. But, like, you can't protest tipping by not tipping servers. And you can't protest homework by telling everybody not to do their homework. Or maybe you can. I don't know, kids. Like, try and unionize and see if you can get everyone to stop doing homework at your high school and see what they do.
That is the best direct-to-DVD movie I've ever heard of that I want to see. Homework Strike.
Homework Strike. Oh my god. That would be...
Homework Strike.
Do we want to say that on the podcast, or do we want to start putting a script together? I'm kind of not joking. I think that's going to be an incredible one.
It actually is a great idea. I'm kind of with you, Kevin.
Show up late, don't do your homework, and learn as best you can.
Your question, Kevin, was that I tangented off of was, what is these kids' sin? And I think, Paul, you were hitting it with too, where they've claimed previously to have studied. We have to take them at their word for it, but they're unreliable narrators.
Yeah, all the information we're provided proves that they are not lying about the fact that they do try and still do bad, which is just, they were dealt a bad hand of dumbness.
Except for, I think, the one time in the book where they have a chance to prove it, if I read this correctly, after they drink the brain juice, after Dr. Frank King is like, study real hard, this will make you smarter, and they study for the math test, it seems like they don't study, they just fuck around with Nerf darts.
They get attacked with Nerf darts, for sure. I think they do study at first. I think it's
there aren't like scenes of them studying. There's like scenes of them starting to study, but RL skips over that because it would be boring.
So let's just assume they actually studied. Okay.
We'll assume they studied. I just realized, though, that Uncle Frank's prank that he's pulling on them is essentially a pull yourself up by your bootstraps prank.
Yeah. Well, I don't think RL is moralizing here. I think he's like, oh, what if this would be funny? He's kind of hitting on something real, which is, what is your recourse if you try hard at school and you don't succeed?
Right.
Like, you don't really have any. There's no support structure for you.
No. Even in the 90s when we thought the schools were all working. Like, this is still... yeah, you're right. I would say Uncle Frank should have probably, besides this morality lesson, which is kind of a sweet idea, there probably should have been like hey, you guys drink that brain juice and you guys promise you'll come back here after dinner and you and I are going to study for a couple hours because I know math because I'm a scientist. And then he like helps tutor them. That'd be really great, but that would ruin the premise of this book. So he's just going to give them grape juice.
Yeah, and while he's bringing them the grape juice, I assume on like a big silver tray with like a little thing over it, like those little dome things.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like in a cartoon.
A home for food.
Yeah, a little food house. You know? Sorry, a food home.
A food home.
a food mobile home.
Yeah. So he goes to answer the phone, and the aliens drop out of the sky and leave a big fucking gross wet patch where they land. And they switch the grape juice for their brain energizer fluid, and then they leave.
Which I just want to point out that I thought this moment was really interesting. That Morgul and Gobble are both naive to think that Frank King is the king of scientists on Earth, but it still overhears the entire gimmick of what he's doing to these two kids. Like they are clearly somewhere in the house listening when he tells his hot wife. I don't think he's decided his wife is super hot. Tell his hot wife, I'm going to do this moral lesson. It's just grape juice. They're like, a wise king who teaches via parable. We shall mess with the brain juice. They know it's not real brain juice. So they're like, we're going to dump this out.
I don't know how smart these aliens are. They live in a society where the divine right of kings is real.
And height-based. Anyone who's taller than anyone else apparently has seniority.
Divine right.
Which is the Invader's Zim method, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
God chose for you to be closer to him, so you are the king.
Yeah, I'm impressed that the aliens invented brain juice before young juice and strong juice. Because those are the three criteria, right? They need to be smart, strong, and young.
Oh, I hadn't thought about this other book of like, what if we make the scientist younger? And they give him youth potion.
They can't make you young or strong, but they can make you smart. Except they don't drink the brain juice themselves. Otherwise, they would know random facts about Earth.
Right. But they also establish that it is usually intended for aliens. Because like we don't know what the brain juice will do to a human. So it must have been used on their own kind in the past.
They did test it on aliens, yes.
Yeah. So the kids drink the brain juice, they go home. They're still pretty dumb at the start of the next day.
They stay dumb for a little bit.
There's that great 21 Jump Street kind of joke where you think Nathan, the boy, is actually starting to hit it off and he sees a tough formula on the board and
I thought that was so funny.
That was genuinely funny. That's Channing Tatum going, "What up, science?" Like he writes out this whole equation and the teacher's like, "None of that is correct."
Yeah, Mr. Tisling?
Tisling, yes. Who can I read Mr. Tisling's description? I had to
Please.
I had to write down Mr. Tisling's description because I want to be described this way. Please, from now on, describe me this way. He wore jeans and sweaters torn at the neck, and lots of kids thought he was really cool. Please describe me like that.
Put that on your tombstone. Kids thought he was really cool.
He wore jeans and sweaters torn at the neck, and lots of kids thought he was really cool. Rip Paul Ritchie.
What is a sweater that is torn at the neck look like?
It's just cool. It's cool. It's cool, Kevin. You don't try to look cool. You are cool, is what it says.
Best teacher I ever had, Mr. Hostetler, learned Latin for 4 years. That dude drove a beat up like Studebaker car and wore those type of like suit jackets with big pads on the elbows that are definitely not cool.
Yeah.
And he had a gray ponytail, and when he would talk to you, he'd lean back against the chalkboard very casually, and then when he'd turn around, his entire back was covered in chalk. Dude was not cool, but he was the best teacher. He was the best teacher I ever had.
Shout out. Hope he's listening.
Yeah.
I love Mr. Hostetler. I love you.
The night when they drink the brain juice, they put them into wine glasses and they clink them, which I thought was very cute.
I love that they mimic their drinking parents. That was good.
Yep. Their parents who drink just to get through the day. And also the aliens show up at their house and Nathan steps in a yellow glob that the aliens are just constantly like spewing.
Yeah, nobody in this world is smart enough to recognize the trails of smelly, slimy yellow goo that these guys leave everywhere.
This is just leapt out of a mac and cheese commercial.
This is probably the only part that was kind of maybe the tiniest bit scary is I guess it's a bit of the bomb under the table, but...
Was that when they burn on New Jersey? Is that what scared you?
No, that did not hit for me. I don't even remember that, actually. It's just the idea that, like, they are somewhere in the scene spying on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's kind of spooky.
Oh, always,
you just know they're in the house somewhere.
Yeah.
There's at one point they find the slime pile, like, outside the window outside, meaning that they were just standing there for a while watching these kids.
Yeah,
it's kind of scary.
It's pretty scary. We see them being sneaky a couple of times throughout this book, and it's a spooky little thing.
Is it?
I don't know. Spooky enough. Halloween enough.
Yes, we get the crossword burn. We get my favorite line where, like, Nathan's only friend, Eddie.
Oh my god, I love this.
Draws a picture of Mr. Tisling with a worm coming out of his nose.
What was the line that you liked, Kevin?
Eddie is an artist.
An artist! He says, he's an artist. An artist! I fucking love that, too. I wrote that one down.
I remember thinking that the first time my uncle drew a pile of shit. Like, I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
He's an artist. An artist! It was you, like you're like an art collector, and you found someone. You're like, I found one. No, that was great. They do, and we talked about the kids doing the crossword, and you brought up the crossword burn. This is post drinking the brain juice, and the kids think they should be smart by now. And this is where the kids are like, hey, what's a 6-letter word for, what is it, like a dummy or something like that? Or like for someone who's like an oaf. Yeah, there's an oafish who's oafish and dull. And to which Nathan responds, what kind of fish? Which is a nice... stupid person joke.
That's good RLism. There we go.
Good RLism. And he sits there thinking about it interminably for a couple of pages, and then they nail him with Nathan.
So they have Dum Dum Day, and Mr. Tisling keeps them after class because they did extra bad on their tests.
Mm-hmm.
So bad that he thought they cheated to do that bad.
Right.
Which is a joke in quotation marks. Mr. Tisling sucks. He is cool though.
The kids think he's really cool though. Listen, if kids think you're really cool, you probably suck.
Wait, did I miss? Is there 3 tests? Because the first test I remembered was they got perfect scores, and the teacher was like, "You must have cheated."
Sorry, the first test they do bad on. Then the brain juice kicks in while they're doing the second test, and that's when they don't know that they're doing well. And they take the test, and then the next day, Mr. Tisling gives them back the tests and says that he needs to see them again after class, to which they assume they did even more poorly. But then he reveals, no, you both got perfect tests. You are so stupid that not even I could teach you this well. And you need to take another test tomorrow. I'm going to tear these tests up because I know you cheated, and we're going to test you again tomorrow. To which he does do that, and the kids, again, absolutely nail it. And this is when brain juice is kicking into full effect. And they're to the point now where they're answering questions in class without any effort. Nathan is constantly correcting Mr. Tisling. Mr. Tisling's finally getting burned on. The kids are starting to see that he's actually a big idiot, and his smoke and mirrors ploy that he's made these kids think he was cool with his torn sweaters and pants has finally fallen apart.
Yeah, the wish fulfillment of this book of now I'm a genius doesn't happen for more than like a page. It kind of quickly goes from we didn't even realize we were smart yet, no one believes us, to the school has turned against the kids. They are too smart and annoying.
Yeah, they solve all the crosswords, they build the dollhouse, their friends are starting to be alienated from them, they don't want to hang out anymore because they're too smart, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, can I talk about my favorite scene in this whole thing? Sorry to cut you out, Kevin. I just had it saved. Was when they're at home, they are guessing every question right on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And the parents, I guess, like don't believe it. They're like, it's pre-recorded. That's no one believes in these kids.
No.
They're like, it's pre-recorded. There's no reason to know the answer. And Lindy goes, "We're ready for Final Jeopardy." Then outside, Final Jeopardy, Goebel murdered. Watching the two kids through the dead window, hidden by the darkness of the winter evening. Final Jeopardy. Yes, I think that describes what those two human kids are about to face. I like that a lot.
That's a good transition. It was a great little moment where we get like a nice little jokish transition, but it was cinematic in a way. It took us outside. I thought that was good too, Chad. I was into that.
And you can't do that without perspective shifts. Like, we can't do that if we're duct taped to one character for the whole fucking story.
And which is what's normally, I don't think we would normally, in a Goosebumps book, ever be with Gobble and Morgul without the kids there. Yeah. That's what made this feel so different and kind of fresh as a book.
Right.
But it did also destroy the horror aspect of it.
Oh, yeah, it made it fully a comedy. It made it purely a farce of, like, their misunderstanding stuff and comedy of them going, yes, we have found our slaves.
So they have to go see the principal and the guidance counselor because they're too smart for the school, and their parents try to fight it, and the government shows up, and they want a piece of their genius kids' brains.
I thought the brain sampling was a very odd. Like, if you're gonna work for the government, have a little more secrecy than that.
It's very quickly. I think before even the government agent shows up, like Lindy and Nathan are watching the news at home about them.
Yeah.
Like a reporter is talking about how these kids have been asked to leave the school because they're too smart. Mm-hmm. Like, that is some breaking news, is all I'm saying.
I mean, you could just probably get your GED and then not have to do school anymore.
Fuck yeah.
So they run over to Wardle's house, who's one of the smart kids, and they have a moment of, I guess, it was not cool that we bullied you, but we only think that because you're smart.
Yeah, there's a little bit of regret of, like, the kid, there's other kids there, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's like you get the sense that these other smart kids don't necessarily feel great that now their two new smart rivals are being asked to leave the school.
Right.
But that's not going to go anywhere, but at least it was a nice little human moment for the kids.
Yeah, and I think I realized what these kids' sin is in this one. Their sin is desiring to be special, is what their sin is. Because they are given the monkey's paw wish fulfillment of becoming special and realize how horrible becoming special is. So I guess that's their punishment.
Specialer.
Well, all right, so here's you think you just helped me hit, Paul, like why this book feels so bizarre is it's like two separate premises kind of crammed together into this farce. I mean that in a compliment way of like misunderstanding, but there's another version of this story where Dr. King is genuinely a mad scientist and he gives them brain smart good juice. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of these beats happen as is, of the wish fulfillment, and then the monkey's paw of like, oh, we were too smart and people didn't like us.
Right.
But it's also this crazy turn of, well, actually the kids thought they drank her uncle's grandpa,
Uncle Grandpa.
They think they drank, Uncle Grandpa Frank's brain juice, but really it was alien brain juice. They don't know the aliens exist because the next part of the story is going to be about aliens capturing them, which is completely different than the entire premise.
The two halves of this story are like, they don't fit together very well.
No. The aliens show up and they prove they're aliens by eating a bird.
Yeah, I love this part. Okay, I love this part. Our now genius protagonist, sees the aliens. The aliens come out and he goes, nah, they real aliens. I'm a genius. I know it. And then the aliens explain that they're aliens and he's like, hold on. I don't believe it now, for some reason. So the way they prove it is by grabbing a bird and eating its head, which Ozzy did that, and that guy is definitely not an alien.
I guess this shows the difference between a high intelligence, low wit character and a high wit, low intelligence character.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
A lot of retention, not a lot of synthesis of what you're processing.
Yes, that's exactly it, Kevin. I do love this. They see these aliens and then they describe them again fully for us in case we've missed that entire prologue, which I think probably was they wrote the story and then they were like, well, we should add a prologue at the beginning and get these aliens in here earlier.
Gotta hook them early. Gotta hook them at that Scholastic Book Fair.
Get them at the book fair. Get them in the first couple pages.
Gotta make sure they don't put it back on the shelf while they have the 10 minutes to shop.
It's like every TV show and movie now. We need to have the instant. We have to hook them instantly or else they won't care. Yep. So that they do the full description again. They do the bird eating, and then our genius main character again, our now genius main character is like, gotta come up with a plan. His plan: fucking run away.
Super run away.
Run back to our house, the safest place there is. No one will expect us, now famous people, to be at the place where we live.
I mean, in terms of plans in the Goosebumps, canon, not the worst one. It just so happens to be that mom is leaving the house really quick. Like mom is getting in the car.
Right.
She's like, I don't have time to talk. I'm not going to listen to you about the aliens. But also, as they come inside the door, they're like, Mom was baking brownies. Mom left with the fucking oven on?
I thought that too. She left Brenda with the oven on.
Listen, she's a 90s parent. She's got to have it all, and she's got to go. Like,
I was told I can have it all, and so far I've bought most of what I wanted for $50 throughout my life.
I can only get this 1 hour of Jazzercise set. So listen, you guys are in charge of little Lindy now. Also, the oven's on.
I do love that she victim blames her genius children at this point, because she's like, it's your fucking fault. I gotta go to school because you're too damn smart that they kicked you out of school and you made everybody scared of you. She gives them a nice little bit of victim blaming, and she pieces out and leaves them there. And the aliens show up because the genius plan wasn't so genius. They smash in. They grab Brenda. Right, Brenda's her sister?
Yeah, Brenda.
They grab Brenda. They're like, we're going to eat your sister if you don't come with us. And they say, okay, we'll come with you. And they go, haha, you fucking idiots. We're going to eat your sister anyway. And then we edge wipe to them in the spaceship.
Yep.
And we're supposed to believe briefly that Brenda was eaten, but then through expository dialogue, we are told that Brenda was not eaten, thus getting rid of any tension that might have still been there.
Yeah, that was a strange beat.
Yeah, right? Right?
Like, also, we hadn't talked about, there's so much of Gobble and Morgul's discussions of, like, they are obsessed with talking about how they want to kill humans when they're alive.
Right.
They're like, oh, if we kill them when they're dead, if we eat them when they're dead, that's not going to be as tasty. Like, so the fact that they don't eat this child is kind of hard to believe.
Right.
Yeah. And the kids try to spend the rest of the spaceship ride putting on, like, trying to pretend they're stupid.
Yeah.
Like, how's a pencil work? Or which way is left? I have an attitude problem.
They course correct. They course correct hard into stupid.
They are saying that the brain juice must have worn off, but it clearly hasn't.
Yeah. So they're taken into the alien planet, which is just kind of New York, I guess. It's just got, like, some strange bees and buzzsaw style music and
Aliens Hell Kitchen. Yeah, Aliens Hell Kitchen. They're all hanging out on their little, like, stoops and their fire escapes, their arms twirling around.
Yeah. Like, there's not a lot here except now the there's really not a way to, like, not sexualize this next part.
Go on.
Because we get to the fire hose.
The fire hose, baby.
Well, yeah, this would be... Yeah, this has some, like, internet fetish stuff to it.
This is some kink about it.
I just want to say that I wish that the acid was given to them, please. I wish they got acided.
So they're like, we got to clean you kids for the Emperor before he sees you. And I think it's what they've said, that you're going to do all this math for him, which is still crazy.
They want to clean them from the inside out, too.
Yeah.
So they put these kids up on this poor fetish wall, and they're like, we're gonna jam these hoses that are overly described as the width of a thermos can.
They describe the thermos can fire hose thing tickling the back of their throat, and then then I guess the Emperor shows up, and
shows up. Yeah.
Do not clean my filthy slaves. I need them now.
He demands them. They see the Emperor. The Emperor looks like the other aliens, except he has a crown. They've all been described as having ivory tusks that come out of their mouths and head and stuff like that. And he is described as having a crown that has grown right out of his head. Again, this is a divine right of king situation. You were born a king. You were chosen by the divine beings to become king.
Once a generation, one of these aliens grows a tumor that looks like a crown.
One king alien is born, and they live for however long God deigns them to live. And so he says he wants the children now. He wants them presented. He wants to see how smart they are because Morgul and Gobble have been talking these two kids up about their smarts. Yeah,
and today's the Jubilee, so we gotta have those children.
Today is the math Jubilee, and I'm going to win it.
We're in the mathletes competition. We gotta have two ringers that can really win it for us.
And these kids, they play real stupid.
Yeah. They do some Three Stooges nonsense again. They like bonk into each other. One of them kicks a high leg and farts, and then they high five for 45 minutes. Like it's just
it's real regular show.
Yeah.
I love this part because I think it's intended for us to truly believe that they have gone stupid at this point. You know, that they've gone back to being dummies. But which obviously they haven't. But I think it's supposed to be a twist because they can.
Was it?
I think so. I think it was, but because here's why I think that, because it carries over into Earth again briefly.
Yeah. I think the part that was throwing me was, like you guys have said, they are so dumb that they have descended below what the baseline was at the beginning of this book.
Right. And they have a couple moments where like they do stuff where like they were being really stupid just a moment before, and then they like have attained some level of intelligence briefly, and it's like kind of oscillating, you know?
Yeah, unless you're going to be like, oh, the brain juice has a withdrawal, like a drug where this, if you feel dumber after using it, I'd be like, okay. But instead I was like, I think they're just protesting against the man who wants to enslave them by going like, no, we don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Man.
I think RL hits on something interesting here, which is it's hard to be smart, but it's easy to prove you're smart. Whereas it's easy to be stupid, but it's hard to prove you're stupid. You could just be a smart person pretending to be dumb.
Oh, but a smart person can't pretend to be, or a dumb person can't pretend to be smart.
Yeah.
Got it.
That is the grand dance that we see played out in front of us here. I don't know. They run away again because obviously, and then they fall in a chute.
It's a genius plan.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Can I bring in one thing I forgot to mention? Is when they first arrive there in the planet, or out there when Gobble and Morgul are giving them the tour or whatever, and how you'll be our number slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Then they give translators to the kids going, and now you will understand our language. But like, you've been talking to them for this whole book.
But okay, not every alien has an hour to learn English. They have jobs, Chad. All right, they have busy.
So you're saying without the book calling it out, Gobble and Morgul naturally switched from alien language to English and back and forth.
No, the book does call it. They say Gobble and whatever the fuck learned English in an hour.
I missed that. Oh, yeah. Well, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
Well, I love that they say they're like, our language has 700 letters, to which I'm like, Chinese has like tens of thousands of letters, so it's not that impressive.
Yeah, they leave. They go home, and then the book ends.
Yeah, and seriously, that's all that happens. They run away.
Wait, hold on. We can't skip over that Morgul and Gobble just get fucking iced.
Well, because the fucking guards are... they do a great job of shooting Morgul and Gobble. They're killed for bringing two dum-dums onto the ship. And then the kids are able to dodge around. I'm pretty sure the king gets blasted by his own guards. And you know what? I don't think... Something tells me, again, it's a divine right situation, so people are probably not too happy with having a king chosen by sheer chance. So I do think that his guards fragged him, the king. The emperor.
It was like a coup.
Yeah, I think they fragged him. So the kids help the guards frag their king, and then they jump down a chute, which lands them in a spaceship that takes them home.
Yep. Yeah, that was so convenient.
As Kevin said, they run away and they get home. That's
yep.
all.
Wait, no, doesn't the Emperor also do it?
What's that?
What?
I'm gonna try to find this page. I swear the Emperor puts them on the ship that's going home.
No, the Emperor, we don't see him get shot, but he gets shot off screen. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have to find this. This is totally.
I know you don't want him to be dead, but the Emperor is dead.
Yeah, I don't really know what Chad has to gain from like fact checking us on this one, but
I missed an episode. I'm coming back and I need to prove myself. So they're ducking disintegration blasts. Yeah.
Oh, did we miss something? Okay,
so
go on.
Nathan and Lindy are being chased. It's just like Star Wars Episode 4. They're running around being chased by stormtroopers. They go into what they call a closet, and they were trapped here. We ran into a closet. Too late. The Emperor filled the doorway. His eyes moved from Nathan to Lindy, and broad smiles of victory spread on both of his mouths. Let us go, Lindy cried, her voice cracking. The Emperor tilted back his head and laughed, an ugly, croaking laugh. Okay, he said. You may go. He reached a tentacle up to a silver level on the wall. He pulled the lever down. And then they fall, no floor, ow, ow, ow. We just slide down into darkness faster and faster.
I just read past that. I think at this point I was a little over the book. I think I just...
But they think they're like, are we in a prison cell? A cage? His heart pounding, his throat sore from screaming. Nathan squinted into the white light. Where are we? I'm just kind of skipping ahead. We turned to Lindy. We're back on a spaceship, he said. We're taking off. Do you think they're sending us home? Do you think we could be that lucky? 2 days later, they were at Uncle Frank's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Emperor just put them on a one-way trip back home.
Yeah, because it doesn't fucking matter. That's the thing. Nothing matters. They just had to go home, and the book sent them home. And they meet up with Uncle Frank. They're acting like they're dumb. Not as dumb as they were acting on the ship, but they're acting, well, they appear to be stupid, back to normal stupid selves. And Frank seems to be happy with the return to the status quo so that he can go back to Sweden and bone his wife, his hot wife.
But they're secretly really smart. They are like writing math equations and then erasing them before Dr. Frank sees them.
Yep. And that's and then it ends with Dr. Frank coming back into the room with some drinks for them because he said he would make them some hot chocolate, and he's drinking grape juice 8 times a day because he thinks it'll make him smart, I guess.
Is that the joke?
I think that's a joke because he's not. I was like, wait, does he maybe drinking like brain juice, like real brain juice? No, I think he's just drinking grape juice, thinking it's going to make him smart because I guess he didn't believe their alien story, maybe.
I didn't really get the punchline at the end.
I couldn't tell if it was that or just like Dr. Frank is just like, I felt like some grape juice and hey, call back to what I did earlier, right?
I think it's supposed to be like a funny ending, but it's not like a twist or anything like that. I don't know. Who knows?
Also, did I ever tell you kids that I actually gave you grape juice instead of brain juice? I don't know. Maybe we talked about that in the post-mortem.
I was hoping that I'd like pull you guys over to my side on this one and make you guys like the book. I could feel myself disliking the book the more we talked about it.
I loved this book.
Yeah,
I had a blast.
I thought this book was good in the beginning. Again, I thought the characters were really funny because they were stupid, and I thought the situation was pretty funny. Like that when he does the equation and he's completely wrong. That's funny. Like that's a funny moment. But the ending just felt like it. Like again, Chad, to your point, I think the aliens were so unnecessary that it kind of ruined it. This could have been funnier and better if they just took the whole alien thing out of it.
I think you could have done something where, like, you take the aliens out, you just have like the brain juice that they drink, and maybe like they both become geniuses, but one is like gets like a little bit more juice than the other, and like there's now. Just because there's one person smarter than you, you're still a genius, but you feel like an idiot.
Ooh.
Like that could be a good thing. That could have been a good thing to explore. But like, I don't know. RL kind of said like he'd been like cooking this one up for a while, and this is his favorite, right? Like someone in our Discord said that this was
right.
Yeah,
I could actually, if RL wrote this, and if we talked about him earlier, him being the jokester, this is like maybe unintentionally, this is the funniest Goosebumps book I had read. Of like the comedy of Gobble and Morgul is pure comedy, not horror, and it's just kind of like ridiculous premises of, I don't know, slaves to do math is so weird. I kind of like it.
I don't think that I agree with you. I think this is one of the funniest books. I think that RL never I think he says these books are scary, and he says he loves to scare kids. I don't think that's true. I think what RL likes is campy horror that isn't scary but is funny, and I think that's what he makes. I think he's always done that. Is he writes campy, silly, over the top horror things that sometimes move into the realm of actually being scary.
I was just trying to get into this like a thought experiment while I was reading through this on regards to this kind of like the different narrators and how different this is than usual.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the template version of this story in an older Goosebumps book, if you wanted to have all these beats, we just would have never cut away to Goblin, Morgul, or Dr. Frank. It would have been the kid's perspective. It would have been like, yeah, our crazy scientist gives us brain juice. There would have been this kind of twist halfway through where the doctor's like, I have to tell you kids the truth. I didn't give you brain juice. I gave you grape juice.
Right, and the alien. There would be maybe some hints of the aliens through the first third, or weird happenings, and then we would have been given the reveal. And I think that might have been how this one was written, Chad. I'm thinking because of the double description that maybe it was written where there was a twist, and they were like, "Fucking RL, you can't do it. You can't do it again. They're not letting you."
You don't see, you wouldn't see Goblin and Morgul until they just showed themselves up in the woods, going, "Sup, you're coming with us to space." And then someone, an editor gave a note of like, "That's ridiculous." I actually kind of like this version more than what is probably the quote unquote better version.
Yeah, we would have been annoyed as hell if it was just like, oh, it's surprise aliens. We would have been really annoyed.
Surprise aliens. Yeah. This at least was funny this way.
Right.
So Kevin, you convinced me. I like this book.
I love this. I think this is our first time that this one person liked it and another person didn't, and you actually swapped sides.
Yeah, like I don't know what happened.
Over to each other.
I don't know. Thinking about some other books in the Goosebumps series I've read, like this one being a little overbaked is not such a bad thing. I don't think.
No,
but
it's not the worst.
No,
I'd be on board more cutaways to the villains just talking about like Monster World. That would make these more interesting to read in the future.
I would have loved more cutaways to the parents talking about how dumb the kids are and how they can't let them know.
But all of RL's like cutaways to Monster World are monsters actually think you're ugly.
There were so many of those jokes throughout, for sure.
That's his favorite. That's his favorite fucking thing, is the monsters think you're ugly.
That's his safe word. That's his place. That's his rock that he comes back to.
That's his baseline.
That's his baseline.
Just because thank you to the Goosebumps fandom wiki. I'm just kind of looking like, is there any other hints that this is where the nature of these books will go? And in one of the trivia collections, it says that this book, Scream School, which we haven't read, and Slappy's Nightmare, which we haven't read, I don't think, are the only Goosebumps Series 2000 books to be written in the third person.
Okay.
So maybe that's what I found so refreshing, was just that breakaway from, my name is Nathan, I'm a kid, and I'm a real dum-dum. Like, it was more interesting to see the different POVs.
Right. Yeah, I thought this book had some good stuff in it. Some fun, like you guys said, shifts in perspective. Just thought it didn't stick the landing. That's all. Should have had a little more brain juice before finishing this one up.
Maybe the Emperor doesn't just say goodbye and put them on a one-way trip home. That felt a little like the book needed to end it.
Maybe the super geniuses actually outsmart him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the kids in their infinite genius are like, let's crawl into the dissected skin of Morgul and Gobble and convince the Emperor that we are them.
But the kids using their intelligence to get them out of the problem would be a trait mattering, a trait to the child mattering in the story, which is not a thing RL does for some reason.
Nope. And you could say that they did do it by acting dumb, but that is not why they escaped. He did not choose to let them go because they acted dumb. He just chose that because of a whim, I guess.
Well, you know what? This is how I'm reading that scene now. He cornered them, and he had all intents and purposes to eat them or do something terrible to them. Mm-hmm. He noticed that he just happened to be over the hatch that leads to the ships that take you to Earth. Right. And when the kid said, "Let us go," he was like, I can't resist this clever wordplay by going, "If you insist," and then dropping the floor afterwards.
Chad, that tracks. He couldn't resist the urge to joke. The urge to pun was too strong, so he did it.
It overrode his alien mind, and he was like, fine. Something compels me.
I love it.
Oh, boy, I missed reading these books with you guys.
Same.
This is a good time.
Hey, if you want to, I think that's the episode. So I'm going to say, if you want to check out more on Goosebuds, we're on all streaming services, wherever you found this. All those episodes are there. But if you want to get access to bonus episodes that we do every month, which is pretty much Kevin, Paul, and myself hanging out around the audio campfire and joking and talking about things we care about besides these books, you can get Camp Goosebuds, which is on our Patreon, patreon.com/goosebuds.
Yes, we will tell you what our favorite fandom.wiki page is on that podcast.
Next episode, we'll talk about them. Also, hey, if you want to support the show in other ways, or maybe dress your body for the summer, we got some new stuff on the store.
Yeah, we got some muscle shirts for your muscles.
Oh yeah,
and by that I mean tank tops.
Yeah, no, it's a muscle shirt.
It's a muscle
that counts.
Yeah.
Kevin's modeling one of them. I recently posted a new one of our new Goosebuds 64, which is our cover art converted into a wonderful quasi. It's not the N64, it's the Glomp Cube, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, it is for the Glomp Cube. Yep.
And a new Goosebuds logo tee as well. You can check those out on goosebuds.store.
Check that shit out.
I'm gonna go drink some juice.
Yeah, happy Juice Month, everybody.
Juice Month! This episode of Goosebuds is brought to you by our wonderful Patreon supporters, especially those wonderful folks in the Book of Names.
The Book of Names.
Started off with Stefan, Jive, Turkey, Kuwabara,
Hollis, Hornbeak,
Cameron Murphy, Audio,
Michael McDowell,
Hey, Josh, Rob,
Nikki C.
Heard that, Hootie?
Hootie's going nuts in the background.
Nathan Dolzal,
Kelly C,
Mike Lanteri,
Buddy Morrill,
Ailcade,
Mel Dipson,
Zen Keith,
Low Belly, Hate Me,
Afsheen,
Danky McStanky,
Dango Twists,
Brian Wells,
Elden Lord Zenticles, congratulations.
Congratulations. Stealth Bates,
Patrick Reynolds,
Robert Moon.
Real quick, I would just like for anyone who is an Elden Lord to please update your name so I know all the Elden Lords.
Yeah, please.
Jason Crooker,
Clay Castle,
Miguel Pardo,
John Keaty,
Calf,
Third Sergio.
New episode of Paranoia Shop out now!
No, there's no new episodes. There's no new episodes. But thank you.
Sniggy,
Ishak Arafin,
Gregory D. Warren,
Alan Saylor,
Cody Redfield,
Bradford Coulter,
Aiden Alexander Dice,
Reinfected,
Jar Jar Slinks,
Justin Wagman,
Chosen One,
Cardboard Walk,
Levi Than,
Up and Champ,
Jonas Engman,
Bloister,
Carl.
Hey y'all, Broccoli here. It's been a fun year, but all things must end. Broccoli recipe incoming.
Yeah.
Is the broccoli recipe going to end us? Okay, all right.
I want to hear it. I want to know. Alicia Grafe,
The last broccoli recipe you'll ever need.
The John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation,
Elusive Koala,
Yanni Markovina,
Joe,
Brooke X,
Jesus Christ,
Christian Van Skeever,
Drew Applegate,
Jeremy Lowe,
Brian Hobgood,
Zach Connor.
Ooh, Patreon_donator, comma yo.
Are we doing ghosts?
Joe,
Are we doing?
I don't know. Are we doing SNL or
That's what I-
Spooky? Because it both work.
Spooky or
I
SNL?
started at SNL and went spooky.
What's the difference?
Joe, Spooky Digital Ghost Tyranny.
Sorry, I had to SNL it up because it was a little too spooky. Tom Whittam,
Wow, I guess it's been a while since Andrew Jadzak has taken a long enough drive to listen to a podcast. Been there, dude.
that's real.
Lord Cornwallis,
Jonas Blatterman,
Carson Birkenbean.
Murph EP.
Kevin Ticklebean, Gnome Ranger.
Cool.
Oh. Are you a gnome as a ranger, or do you corral gnomes?
Wow.
Or you like the Lone Ranger, but the Gnome Ranger.
Oh, I like that. Ooh, that's cool.
Sean Minogue.
Paul Grasso,
Rushy Glenn,
Wiggle It.
Joe, regular name, Scott,
John Pigeon Hat Barber,
Chip Handsome.
Matt McClellan,
Alex Moon, the robotic dog,
Vincent Modica.
Sarah Kemp,
Luke Knoodles,
Tanya Turtle.
Hugh Bolin,
Zam Bambino,
Adam, you goofed.
Juan Jalapena,
Keith Halcrow,
Timothy Misadolakis.
Clay McCarty,
Nathan Remick,
Matthew Stevens.
Need More Kimchi, formerly Devaldi. Thought I should clarify. I appreciate that, Devaldi.
glad to know Devaldi is still there, Parker Lee,
Ham_boat.
Hey guys, Kevin here. Just wanted to know if Goosebuds is a pro or anti-September 11 podcast.
I don't-
Kevin already knows that answer. I don't know why he'd be asking.
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know if I should be pro or anti.
Wait, no, you're anti-September 11th, clearly.
But I'm pro remembering it.
I'm pro it as a date.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, I am not anti. I'm neutral on all dates, really.
It's actually my parents' anniversary, so I guess I'm pro September
11th. For good reason. Reed Stubendike.
Raymond Hernandez.
Flemily.
The Crow Feds.
Matthew Sutton.
Joey Evans.
Lee Wood.
Jeffrey Owen Cahy.
Carewise Gamgee.
Kelsey Kinnaman.
Swaggy Yolo Squire.
Cameron Hansen.
Russell Castberg, me lord.
Javier Jimenez.
Brandon Arifan.
Liam Neesonstow.
Chris Putricus.
Scotty Pippen.
Streak.
Meet Virginia.
Generally depressing.
Dom Sexy Ghost, a.k.a. Captain Sick.
Dungeon Kappa.
Yeah.
Ben Bohan.
Boss Garrettson.
MC Hamster on the ones and twos. That'd be more of a DJ, but, you know.
Zach Ware in the morning.
Limp Duck in the afternoon.
Stinklich after dark.
Ooh. Alan G. Jussum.
Tobias Clark.
Michael Kupka.
Adam Muth.
Eldon Slink. Congratulations.
Ooh. Very nice.
Hey, Anthony, I'm glad you're doing better. Keep up the good work.
Good work, Anthony.
Good
Ryan
job.
Stewart.
Jonas Evan Voldson.
Calamity Carl.
Germ Juice.
Nick Johnson.
Stephen Day.
Estimena, Lord of Paul's Pants.
The wrong kind of lord, in my opinion.
Yeah, not an Eldon Lord. More of a denim lord. The Davy Boy.
Kenny M.
Ryan Carroll.
Jeremy Bowser.
Dr. Diarrhea.
Megan McCormick Mason.
Kieran McNamara.
Diet Soda.
Scalafella.
Ninja Breadman.
Jackie Ledoux.
Coleman Laguza.
They call me Dr. Lamb.
They call me Dr. Lamb.
I should have done. Yeah, see, I was like, I immediately fucked it up. I didn't sing it. Yeah.
Oh, you got little old Ma pretty Frenched.
Hey, Peanutberg level 69 is all I'm saying to that.
Dr. Chocula.
Jimmy Soul.
A pair of Scots.
Levi Kidder.
David Gray.
Bryce Deary.
Matthew Bertata.
Moonjuice.
Carbson.
I am Cornholio. I need TP for my bunghole.
SSJ Trogdor.
Some of Chad's bird friends.
Nicholas Maloney.
Midwest Indigo 13.
Burgers Hot Dwarf Summer World. Hell yeah.
Oh my.
It is the start of Hot Dwarf Summer, everybody. Burger has called it.
Just picturing a lot of dwarfs twerking right now, and I dig it.
Nice.
Thomas Jansis.
Aaron Lord. Another lord of something. I don't know what.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Tell me if I'm saying this wrong, but Dunnage Warehouse.
Tell me if I'm saying this right. Eric Horwitz.
Tiffany Lee. Definitely said that right.
Dr. Eggdrop Soupman.
Lucretia McEvil.
Elmreld.
Mutant Astronaut.
Mike Spaghetti Jones.
Henry Torbert.
Redemption.
Adam Knapp.
Chris.
Logan Derby.
Brad Schmelzer.
David Lynch. Triple X. Brendan Fraser. 666.
Chick.
Milk Punk.
Mr. Misfire.
Mandy Nasty.
Llama Lad.
Soggy Newspapers.
Wagmar Wigmere.
Dakota Kemp.
John Dub.
976 EVIL.
That smells evil. Philip Reynolds.
Detroit Red.
Nathan Gurney.
Kiwi of Lerv.
Serial Killer X.
R.R. Davis Crafts. Ryanimator.
Scott Wable.
Kit Bush.
That's Dr. Mr. Unimportant to you.
Is Kate Bush a Kate Bush reference? Because listen, I'm just digging that.
Everything's a Kate Bush reference now.
Kate Bush is New Zealand Kate Bush.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Just digging that resurgence of Kate Bush right now. Rocco.
Josh Howell.
Allie Safe.
Liam Rogers.
Evan Bowen.
Benjamin Luther.
Edgar's Crassus.
Zach Bentley.
Dennis Wright.
Hover the Moon.
Cameron Gansveld.
Greg Musto.
Vosivi.
Matt Septor.
Greg Gervasi, a.k.a. Vitizen.
Dakota Kipper.
Chad Chard Chunky Chode.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, Anthony Rodriguez.
Hey, B.
Oh my god, Kevin's had us monkeys trapped for 2 months. After writing 20 Goosebumps, he won't let us go. I have a PhD.
I think that last part's kind of unrelated to the other part of that story.
I'd like to address the recent monkey controversy leveled against me, and all I have to say is get back to work. Jeff Webb is a big baby, and now that it has been said on a podcast, it's definitely true. Congratulations on your new baby self, Jeff.
May you be reborn and have a new lease on life.
As a sweeting.
I sure hope that nobody is using our podcast to mess with their friends. Don't mix me up in the middle of that.
Julius, the nice dragon. Aww.
Reverend Odin's Eyehole, MD. Another so many doctors.
Everyone's becoming Elden Lord and doctors.
A faith int build. Chiraku, the thing that goes doink in the anime.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi, first time, long time.
Allie Rose.
Sprinkle Buns.
Spencer Y.
And now, welcome to the new names in the Book of Names.
Names.
Join us, Hilda B.
Welcome, James Stavranos.
Welcome, Gelato Coon.
Hello, Chris Byers. How long will you remain Chris Byers and not Chris Byers, Elden Lord, or MD or something?
How's it going, Mike Hunt?
I'm sorry, even the delay, it was still there. It's still there. You can't escape it.
I knew a Mike Hunt in middle school. Maybe this is him coming back. All right. Mike, if you were my former middle school bully, just let me know. It's cool that you're pledging and being part of the name. Just let me know. Kate the Great!
And finally, welcome, my cart. Close the book upon your name. Names.
Okay, stop there.
No, we did it. We're good. Nailed it.